Hello to all. This is Xochitl with Sociology. I hope everyone is having an amazing day full of positivity, good vibes, good music, good company, and just an all around dope day. As for me, I am kind of feeling all the good vibes right now. I'm excited to be here today with all of you and cover a really interesting subject today. At least for me, it is, and I'm sure all of you will find it that way as well. But before I get started, if you guys can just do me a quick favor and hit the little subscribe button, okay? I'm going to be covering some really cool subjects and interesting subjects on this channel, so I don't want any of you to miss out on that. So click the little button and let's go ahead and get started, okay? Today's subject is going to be cultural restraints. Seems a little heavy, right? I know it does. It can seem a little bit heavy. It can seem a little bit negative. It can seem limited and controlling. And to a sense, all those things that I just said do play a part in this topic. Cultural restraint. The opposite of cultural restraint or the word restraint is indulgence. So when I started digging into this topic and looking up the definition of what cultural restraint is, it did bring up what the opposite of that was, which is indulgence. And I'll reference this a little bit later as to how it was defined when I looked this up. So, cultural restraints can affect us, those of us that are in a situation where we came to the United States from another country. Me personally, being a first generation immigrant into the United States, cultural restraint played a huge role in who I am and how I am very different from some people in my family, per se, because I actually indulged, I guess you can say, meaning that I challenged the cultural restraint. But we'll go into that a little bit later because we're going to talk about the word indulge. So, cultural restraints can affect you or anyone massively because a cultural restraint is basically if you go in the opposite direction of what that restraint is, you're indulging into something else. You're basically going into something that might be considered taboo. It's considered bad. You're going against cultural guidelines or whatever verbiage you want to use. It'll all apply, I'm sure. So, cultural restraints can affect us with education. Let's be real. Like if you came from another country, the first thing your parents say to you is you have to get an education, right? That's the first thing they say to you. Education, who you hang around with, what type of lifestyle you're going to live, what type of music you're going to listen to, how you're going to raise your kids, religion, holidays, what type of festivities and activities you're going to involve yourself in. So basically, it's your cultural restraint is basically a mechanic of an extension, I should say, of what you know best because your family imposed you on certain things. Is that necessarily a bad thing? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Is it the best thing? And, perhaps that's a debatable topic. So perhaps we don't look at cultural restraints as something negative, right? Or we've removed the negative tone to it and look at it as we are continuing traditions, we are keeping our culture authentic, we're being true to self. That's definitely something to be proud of, right? Okay, that's cool. I like that, But does that mean that we can't indulge in something else? And now that I bring up the word indulge again is because when I did a little bit of reading on this, they referenced leaving another country to the United States as an indulge, meaning you were going to indulge in a different life, a different way of seeing things, maybe more open-minded, a little bit perhaps maybe more liberal. I don't know. It didn't say the word liberal on there, but that's kind of the way that I referenced it. So, if we don't continue those restraints, does that mean we're indulging? And the reason I say United States is because this is where I live, and my family came from Mexico to the United States. So, me personally, like my personal experience, there was no indulging. I can definitely like say that that did not apply to me or my sisters or my family in any way. And the reason I say that is because my father, going to the positive of keeping cultures alive and traditions alive, my father and my mother kept our household and the way we were brought with the way we were brought up very true to themselves. Okay. I didn't really realize how different I was per se until I got a little bit older. Now the neighborhood that I grew up in, pretty much everybody there was from Mexico, either like first generation or second generation. I didn't really see any third generation Mexicans or so forth until I got into like high school or maybe perhaps middle grade. So I didn't really see a lot of a difference, until I started seeing things like on TV. And as like I said, as I got older, that I'm just like, oh my gosh, what am I missing out on? What is this cool music that I'm listening to? This different style of clothing. Suddenly I'm intrigued by other things, right? Which we should be. We're growing, we're exposed to things innocently or by digging up different things, right? But that was not necessarily welcomed, at least for my personal experience, not necessarily welcomed. And that's okay. That's okay. Yes, we came to this country as to look for a better life. My father, the first thing is like get an education, be your own boss, live off your own land. Like amazing advice that I wish I would have listened to him a little bit more, but sometimes when things are in front of you, you don't necessarily appreciate them. But it's been a journey, and as I grow older into myself more, I can't help but reference these things that, like I said earlier, are who made me and what made me. And a lot of them were cultural restraints, and a lot of them were indulgences. And I'm saying the word indulge in a positive manner, and I'm saying the words cultural restraints in a positive manner. With that being said, we all grow, we all evolve, we all want different things and to be better and to do better. So for me, the happy medium is stay true to self, be authentic, keep traditions alive, keep the culture 100, absolutely. But you know what? It's okay to add and mix a couple of other things in there and indulge and come up with this perfect new mechanic of being authentic to you, your core, what drives you, what moves you, what motivates you, and break some boundaries. Take yourself to the next level. Grow and evolve and learn something that perhaps maybe your culture or your family necessarily did not teach you, but you also have to learn and appreciate those boundaries and that authenticity that they ingrained in you to give you the strength and the courage to grow and evolve and to indulge. So, with that being said, I love this topic, and it's something that I definitely want to reference back to and talk about again, perhaps with someone else or from another culture or another experience, because this is a beautiful topic, man. Like right now we're in a world of change. You know, there's such a beautiful mixture of cultures, backgrounds, and I just think it's a beautiful thing. We have to evolve and accept and love it. So, with that being said, I had such a great time talking to all of you today, and please, by all means, leave any comments below and tell me what you think. Tell me about your experience if you encountered something like this. Tell me what you think about my point of view on this, and I want to hear yours because these are all debatable, and it's definitely a great topic of conversation. And you know what? It's beautiful, and we got to embrace it. So, everyone, have a great night, and I cannot wait to read your comments. And take care, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye bye.